Okay, recording. So as I was saying just now, we are gonna move on to phase two of our code camp, in which since we already have the framework of everything and we know a whole bunch of stuff, right? Because we're cool like that. Now we can go on and make use of it. So now, let's see where are my images. I had all my images up before. So now we're going to be continuing growing in the stack as full stack developers. Okay, so before we go on there though, we're going to do one more time how to connect to the database because this needs to be cold. You guys need to know this. It has to be second nature. So it's okay doing it, a few times at the beginning. It is all good. We'll do it as many times as you can. And really, this stuff it's a little tricky, and it's okay. I mean, I find myself still going back and doing some research or taking my time doing this because I don't remember it. And really, you're not supposed to remember everything since we're full stack developers and there's tons of stuff that we need to know. So don't memorize too many things, but do memorize that is there and kind of the idea of the overall idea. Okay? Okay, so uh, let's do this. So I have created this project is brand new. I have called it Game Engine. It is an MVC project. And remember, if we go back to the notes that we have here, look at that. You guys see we got a Google Doc now. That's right. Thank you very much, Dan. You see, so now we're going to be using this right here. So, see, so right here, how to connect to the database. So one, let us connect to a database. And this is under tool database, I think. So it might not be here. So tools. So, I mean, before we continue, we go through this quickly. Remember, in order to connect to a database, you need two things, right? One is connect to the actual database, just create a connection to it. And number two is add entity framework. They're totally different. You can just
Do you need the entity framework? You can't just do the database without it.
yeah, you can. That's but that is not how we have learned to do.
Okay, that's my confusion because I thought we learned without it, and I was seriously struggling. I haven't gotten to connecting to entity framework yet.
No, no, no. We have to connect the data entity framework because that's how we have learned. I went over a couple of easy, kind of these things, a couple of examples where there's something called ADO, which is sort of the same thing or very similar to what we did. And it works in a similar fashion. You create an ADO object, you connect to the database, and then you send it query commands, just like you would in the database.
Okay.
Mhm. But the way we have learned, currently we are using Entity Framework to interact with the database. Later on, we will go over non-entity framework examples or even non-SQL examples because other type of database if is good to know. But right now we're doing this is what we're sticking to. One, database, two, entity framework because that is what we have learned to do in this class, at least so far. Is that cool? Good so far?
Yes.
Okay, so solid one, boom, connect to the database. So the way we do that is we go to tools, connect to database, and we have to give it a database name. I know for a fact, or I could just go here and look at what the name of my local database is. It's called C Herrera Aces, whatever that is, slash SQL Express. So I go on and I just go type it here. Herrera, is that too many R's? That's the problem with my name. Too many damn R's. Okay, so aces slash, and then what was it? SQL Express. Okay. We could go back and check SQL Express, Caesar Herrera dash. Okay. If, remember, if you are correct and you provided the correct name for a database, if you drop down here, it will tell you, hey, let me see what databases are on that server. Because remember, this is a server. So I'm going to hit this, drop down. Boom, look at that. So we have succeeded in providing the correct database name. And which database are we interested in out of all of these that we have?
GameDB.
Yep, we want GameDB. And you could test it. Yeah, GameDB here. And you could either do a test connection or just say okay. I mean, we know that it works because we did it before, so I'm just going to say okay. Boom. So now we have a sweet connection. We have a very sweet connection to the database. Remember, so now we have a cool connection to the database. And we could use different technologies in our code to access the database. The one that we have chosen to use right now, or in this instance, is Entity Framework. So in order to do that, we go add Entity Framework project. So add new object. Okay, so add new object. So where do I do that? So let's see, is it in project? Add new item, maybe. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember? I'm sorry, what?
Project add new item.
Aha, so is it here? This guy here?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. So let's see. Give me 1 second. Yes, so it's in project add. It's actually new item in here. Blip. Let's not forget about that. Oh, it saves automatically. Sweet. So we are here, and normally we would go to, hey, we have a SQL server, SQL server action, but in this time we're not doing that. This is something else. We don't need to worry about this yet. What we want to mess around with something that has to do with data. And in this case, this guy here, ADO.NET Entity Data Model. There you go. There you go. And let's call it, I don't know, DV model. Let's call it DV model. And let's add it. Which is the one, this is the one we want, correct? Okay. This means take the design from the database and create classes. Create classes for us so we can use and interact with the database. Okay. Okay, this is fine here. We're like, yes, 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 the connection. And let's next. 6. Do we want to pluralize? For now, it's nice though, but for now we're not. Okay, which do I want to include? Just tables for now. And GameDB model, I guess we're going to call that, yes. All right, and then say finish. Here we go. Let me go back here. Hold on. Did I click on some? Oh, DBL. Yeah, I thought that this was included automatically when you did this. Okay, yeah, so DBO, here we go. Blip. DBO are the data tables. All right. So it's creating stuff for us, you know. So now it's Entity Framework is doing its job, is looking at the database and creating objects so we can interact with database tables and objects as if we, you know, as if it was code. It creates classes for us. It's very, very powerful. This is the viewer here. Look at that. Pretty sweet. It even creates sometimes some kind of relations that some of the tables have. It does that and it represents them here. It's pretty strong, pretty powerful stuff. And we have, so remember, so we have these tables. We have character, items, weapons. And we have character weapons, which links some of them, right? Look right here. Right here. And again, Entity Framework created classes for us so that we can interact with the database through code. So whenever we interact with something of type character, we are interacting with a record in the table that is of type character. So we could save it, update it, and do all sorts of cool things with it. You guys understand that concept pretty well, right? I could trust that you guys have, you know, you feel somewhat comfortable with that, correct? At least a 6 or a 7. Yep. No? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Okay, so now we're here, and what was that?
We are just so you know, the connection keeps flipping in and out as well.
Okay. All right. So it's blurry sometimes. Sometimes
It's
not.
blurry, audio dropouts. We're getting the whole shebang. It comes in and out.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Let me know if it happens too often.
Now that we've stopped, it looks perfect.
Of course. Of course. Maybe I'm going. Maybe when I do this, or I switch around, it drops or something, which is weird. Okay. Well, let me see. Anything? Yeah, Chrome 500. Yeah, it shouldn't be that bad. Yeah, but if any time, let me know. I mean, I don't know how much. This really shouldn't take too much resources. If it does, I'll just use something else. Actually, I'll just use the other one and update it as we go. I think. Close this. Okay, so again, so the place that we're up to, we feel somewhat comfortable, which is good.
I do appreciate you walking through that real fast because
Oh,
I had already missed a whole bunch of things that I should have been doing.
Yeah, remember that's why we got the sweet nodes, my friend, which will be even better now. Let's see. But no, I mean that's why we're here. Remember, guys, if at any time you're not sure about anything, there's no shame in the game. Just we could review it. That's what we're here for. Once this become, you know, the point is to learn it and for it to be solid. You know, and I mean you're gonna go on your own and try to do it, but you're not gonna get it right all the time, or you know, or even you're gonna be stuck sometimes, or a lot of the times at the beginning, and then the more you do it, the better you get at it, and then you get stuck on some other shit. So it's natural, so it is all good. Okay, so now we're good here. So this is a fresh controller, Minty Fresh. And one thing that we're going to do, so again, yeah, there's no, you know, if you guys need me to go over anything, it's not a problem. Like I said, I forget stuff all the time or get stuck, so it's fine. Maggie, my dog's here. Okay, so at least we're up to here, 6 or 7 or 8. I have a brand new one here. And let's stay with the home controller for now. I think, I mean, because we feel comfortable with the home controller, right? Okay, so now,
Home controllers.
yeah, it is, right? It feels like home.
Notice if you get rid of it, even if you have the same stuff in a new controller, it doesn't like you very much.
Oh, no, no.
So eventually, maybe we'll get beyond that. But I learned that the hard way.
No, no, because there's other places that it expects it somewhat. Like if you take a look at this bad boy here, it's called Global ASX. It's called Register Routes, but we will go there somewhere someday. But yeah, so home is good. Home is a good place to be. Um, so how you guys doing? You guys all right? Your brain's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So up to now, we have been going over the concept of a class. And you guys understand what a class is. It's just um, a blueprint or a map that represents some idea or an object. So it's an abstract item or blueprint that does that. And we've been using it pretty decently. Now, before we continue, this is kind of an argument or a discussion here. So this is the best part here. A game engine, right? What is a game engine? What does it mean? What does it do? Does anybody understand what a game engine is? I don't. I mean, I sort of have a slim idea, but what do you guys think? Give me your definition of a game engine. I guess, Dan, you first. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, now that you ask it, it's hard to pin down. Because,
Right?
I mean, the engine itself, you expect it to be like the core of the thing.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't really have a solid division between, the center and, where the player works.
Okay.
For
Dave?
that matter, outside developers, I have worked on objects for like Team Fortress and stuff, and it gets really messy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but those are resources, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's different. Um, man, I mean, it is used by the convention. Yeah, Dave, go ahead. What's your idea? Give me something good to eat.
Game engine.
Yeah, yeah. What does it do?
Uh,
I'm just gonna.
Probably a system that runs the game.
Well, that is a very political answer.
I,
And it
I
is
think
correct.
a good way to sum it up is to consider it like an operating system for a computer. You have the kernel, which is all the core, and then you have environment variables and the your GUI or your shell,
Hmm.
and so the engine itself would be in a sense the core.
Okay, so it's I guess it's the core that keeps track of game related things, right? I mean, does that make sense? I guess is that somewhat accurate? Core that keeps track of game related things and runs it, I guess, and keeps it running. Yeah. Again, this is it. This is where we're gonna be more talking and trying to get at an answer more than actually just going straight and learning something. And we're gonna be learning something by kind of chipping away of whatever we're talking about, so that we can come up with a solution. Um, so this is more kind of like the computer science here, just like philosophy type of programming, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so it keeps track of game related things, right? And keeps the game running, and that's fine. And that is correct. That is correct. So let's say that I have two players. Remember, this is right now we're just talking. We're it's not super hardcore. Right now, let's say, for example, that I have two players. Player one, player two. Player one has 10 hit points. Player two has 10 hit points. Okay, so um, let's say player one. Also, remember, we are making all of the stuff that we're talking about. Whatever we decide to do or whatever we're doing, it's us doing it. It's not no one else. Like we're not getting it from a book. We're not getting it from the internet. It's us trying to figure it out and try to put our ideas to work and see if they work or if they suck or if they're doable. And so don't feel bad about anything that you want to say or any ideas because we're just throwing spitballing out here and trying to come to some kind of conclusion and see what we come up with. Okay, so my question to you, I'm going to pose a question. Let's say I have two players, two characters, and we have something called a character, right? And yeah, so we have that. Um, so player one, player two, and they're each characters. Let's say that player one damages player two. Player one hits. Player two. Do me a favor. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Chatter. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Do me a favor and explain. Well, how do you guys? I'm going to ask both of you. I mean, you could give me different answers or the same answers. Assuming that in the database or wherever in memory, right now we're just using the database as memory, by the way, but you could use memory, the memory on the browser or the memory on the computer. But for now, we're just using our database to keep track of values. Is that cool? Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so and we have people here. Yeah, so we have characters, and characters have HP, and they have weapons and whatnot. But to keep it simple, let's say that player one hits player two. Okay, Dave, let me hit you first since I hit Dan first last time. Um, in your mind, how do you think? Well, how would the math go, or how would it work? Hold on, let me try to do this right over here. Mm-mm-mm. Let me bump this up here. Here we go. All right, we got player one, player two. So player one hits player two. Let's say for five, right? It's for five. Okay, for five. And describe to me how do you think this would work? Remember, we have characters. We have let's say we have player one. It's a character. Actually, let's just call it character one and character two to make it easier for us. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. So right now we have classes that represent the characters. Currently, do you guys remember what methods are?
They're another name for functions.
That's right. Yes. Ooh, that's pretty good. Except that, well, they're functions inside classes or that belong to classes. So let me just give you a quick overview here. Do you guys remember all the way up It might be in the other one. Hold on.
I'm all the way up. What?
Yeah, yeah. All the way up. Let's see. It might have been in our other class. So give me 1 second. It is. Oh, there you know, right here. So remember, do you guys remember the person object, correct? I mean the person class. And these are the properties. These are the properties. Do you guys remember what these are? Go ahead, Dan. Do you know? Do you remember?
It's on the tip of my tongue. Variables?
No, no, no.
That's not.
I just mentioned them.
Functions.
They are methods or functions. Remember, these are properties.
Oh, okay. I get you.
Yeah. So properties are what describe a, or properties that belong to a class. But methods are what that class can do, actions or functions that the class is able to do. Okay. Is that cool? Does that make sense? And Dave, are you good with this, with the functions, methods?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So in this case, I mean, they're kind of empty. They don't really do anything in this state, right? But
Describe what we want from them, though.
yes, but we assume that a person, if they have a function, I mean, a method called jump, then hey, it will jump, or eat. It eats food, or sleep, or run. And so again, methods are actions or functions that belong to a class and that a class is able to perform. So it's an action. So this is more of a description.
Apologies, you're breaking up again.
Yeah, sorry. I will take it easier or downstairs. I don't know what's up today. Is it better now?
At the moment.
Okay. Yeah, so these actions that these are methods that a class can do, perform, and these are properties that describe or belong to a class. For example, person, job, age, towel status, etc. Okay. So up to now, we have our characters. Let's see. We have a character class, right? Don't forget about all of this. Don't really worry about it. We have a character class here, and we have fields here or properties. They don't have any methods, correct? They really don't. Not yet, no. But they can. But right now, these classes don't do anything. So I will, let's see, I will go on to establish a base case for our class. Let's go and create a sweet class from scratch. Okay. Well, before we go on to that, so I kind of keep jumping a little bit, but let's go back to our example that you guys need to answer before we go on.
Oh, okie dokie.
Yes. Dave, if character 1 hits character 2 for 5 hit points, can you describe to me how or what kind of actions could be involved, or what we can do in order to accomplish the goal, the ultimate goal.
It needs an attack action.
Okay, yeah. So character one would need an attack action, right? Okay, that
Correct.
makes sense. Yes. So needs attack action. Well, let me see. Car one. See, this is good. Attack action or something.
And they will need a weapon for that attack action.
Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Needs weapon. Beautiful.
Needs is a strong word, but it's useful.
Yeah, that's true. Depending if it's equipped or not. Yeah.
You could have
Depending.
fist,
Right.
maybe
You could have
automatic,
fist.
a weapon.
That is true. So yeah. So all right. So yeah. So it's an attack action. Beautiful. With and this attack, it might might use a weapon. So I'm going to put it in here, which is because this is sort of an extension of this. Needs or uses a weapon of some sort.
Or spell.
Yeah, or spell. Correct. Beautiful. Okay, so we're here, and so I'm attacking. So because this is good, this is good. I'm about to get you guys, but this is great. I hope your mind is ready because this is where it gets tricksy. But this is exactly where we need to be and the way we need to think. This is good. Yeah. So player one attacks. Attacks player two, right? Yeah. On card two. All right. So I mean that makes sense. So you have described it that way, and that is good. Well, then, can you think of another way that this could be described, sort of, in a way? I mean, it's the same thing. I don't even know if there's another way, but I mean, or can you finish the example? Because kind of that's half. Yeah, actually, that's better, I think. Finish the example. That is only half of the equation, isn't it? Or part of it.
Yeah,
Part of
you need to actually assign a damage to the player two.
it. Yes, but in other words, what does
Yes,
that
but
mean?
in other words,
I guess we need to calculate what the attack and weapon amount. Well, it's going to be 5, so.
Yes, yeah. So subtract, well, calculate.
Subtract, yeah, the health, basically. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Health of character 2. Yes. So yeah,
We could even possibly, depending on how we do it, skip attack and weapon and just assign a damage to character 2.
exactly. Yeah, that is another way of doing it. So there has to be a way of character 2 or characters to well, so this is good here. This is good. So we have agreed on two things here. One, the character needs a way to deal damage or create damage to something, correct? And some kind of amount. Is that somewhat accurate or correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. And number 2 is we need a way to subtract whatever damage from another character. So this is going to be tricky. I don't know. This is because there's different ways of doing it, and this is the fun part because we get to figure out what way or how we want to do it. This is the good stuff. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's create a class. Let's create a cool class. Are you guys ready to create a cool class? Okay.
You have my attention.
All right. And we're going to do it from scratch as well. Because up to now, the classes that are created from the database, they're special classes. Mostly we can access their fields and all that stuff, but in reality, they don't really do much, so to speak. as in they don't really have a lot of methods. Um, and that's, that not a problem. It's not a big problem. But, we want them to do things sometimes. So,
We
what,
want to.
what,
These are basically storage, and we want to interact with the storage in a meaningful way.
yep, yep, yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another class, at least for now. We're going to create our own class. Let's call it, I guess, well, first of all, to create a class, you could just right click anywhere you want. You could create under content or on the game engine itself. And let's just do it on the game engine itself, just to be cool. All right. And add new item. Okay, let's see. Normally you get the shortcut to create a class here. So, okay, yeah, right here. So add class. Are you guys seeing that, how I'm doing that? I right click where I want to add it. And then I said add. And then I could go straight to add class because that is what we want to add.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yep. Or you could just go through all the crap up here and go to new item, class. But for now, you could add all these cool things. But for now, we're just going to do a class. What happened over here? All right. Anyway, add class. All right, so get ready. Get the big person pants on. Big person's pants on. That's right. We are going to create a player. For now, we're just going to create a player class. Actually, we could just create a character class, I guess. But I don't want us to get confused with the database class. So, what would you guys? If I said maybe player character.
PC, yeah, that would usually work out for me, or NPC if we're gonna have those.
Well, in the end, they're sort of all the same. But for now, player character's fine. I could just go, player character.
I've played games where, again, these are mostly text games where the player character and the NPCs are interchangeable.
Exactly.
In a way.
Yeah. And ours will be too, but it's a little bit tricky because we already have the concept in the table of a character. So, I could use the same. Just weird. Now we'll finagle with it and solidify it a bit more, but it's better to do it like this for now. Okay, so player character, which is sort of the same thing, at least for our purposes. So player character, and here we go. So we have created classes before. And we kind of know how they work and how we do. So let's create a player character and let's just copy some of the same things that, the same things they have here. Okay. And the way I'm just gonna cheat, and I'm just gonna copy some of these things here. So, one thing that, I guess, let's see. I don't even know if I want to do it like this, but for now, let's leave it. Let's just copy and paste. Again, don't get confused that they have different names. or that they're similar or too similar. For now, in your minds, do me a favor. This is I'm definitely gonna need. Hold on. In your minds, I want you to think that the character class that we have been dealing with up to now is basically we're going to use it to access database information, to interact with the database. Is that cool?
You're saying the ones that we've already used, or
Yeah, this one.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the one in the database. Yeah. hmm And this one, it's kind of a separate class. It has similar information, but it's not sort of connected to the database. It's a standalone class that we're going to be using sort of as a container for information and to pass around. Is that cool? Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. Um, so here we have a player character. We have a player character class, and a player character has name, job, age, level, gold, race, and so on and so forth. HP, MP. And if I wanted to, can I get a character information from a character from the database, for example, for Caesar, and then fill that information and put it into something of this type? I can, right? Because they're kind of compatible. So they what's that?
I said, yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah. I know what I'm saying. It's very basic and very straightforward, but it can be confusing because all I'm saying is that they're kind of similar and they can contain the same information. I just don't want you to get confused because they're different objects, right? This is a character class, and this is a player character class. They have the same properties or similar properties, but they're not the same. They're different types. Okay. So now we have something of player character, and so as I said before, player character has a name, job, age, level, gold, anything goes. Okay. Um, well, we have HP, MP, all that good stuff. And so right now, what can our players do? Let's say if I create a player, I'm going to go to the home controller. And I'm just going to create an action. All right. All right, how you doing out there, Dave? You're good? How's your brain?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, good. All right. Arena. I'm going to call it arena. That's right, because this is going to be an arena. 2 men enter, 2 people enter, 1 man or person leaves. That's right. Return view. See, we're PC, so we're good. Okay, right here. So I have just made up an action in the home controller. And I have created the type player character. The player character type, which is a class, again, has name, job, age, all that good stuff. So how would I by creating something of type player character? Let's say I want to create 2 player characters, Gladiator 1 and Gladiator 2. Or Fighter 1 and Fighter 2. Or Player 1, Player 2. Yeah. So how would I do that? Remember player character.
We want to create 2 different instances of the character class, we could name them differently.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Player character. Yeah. So we want 2 instances of player characters. That's what we're messing with right now. So so player character 1. So player 1 equals new that's weird. Player character. And the same thing with player 2. Okay. Can I ask you, can I throw you guys a little something here? Or not yet? I want you guys to get used to.
Go for it.
I want you guys to get used to
using the var.
Yes, yeah. var means this is going to be of any type that you provide on the right side. So this is going to be player character. This basically gets put in here. It's kind of shorthand, and it saves a lot of time and readability too. Easier to read, but it's the same thing. So I'm gonna be start throwing it at you. So don't freak out whenever you see it. All it is just this is of whatever type the right side is. Here. Okay. So it's sort of the same thing here. And it's easier to see because your eye just goes straight to boom, okay, player character, instead of kind of being a little bit overwhelmed by seeing it twice. Okay. So far so good.
So good.
Beautiful. So we have player 1 and player 2. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So player 1 is the player character, player 2 is just they're both player character types. So since they're both of type of they're both instances of player character class, then I have access to whatever the class has: the age, HP, level, name, race, and all that good stuff, and job, ID. And that makes sense somewhat, right? Somewhat.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we have just created this, let's give player 1 and player 2 hit points, okay, and jobs.
You're no good about a job.
Yeah. So let's give them a job. Just gonna. Well, a warrior. Let's give him a warrior. Let's keep it simple here. And I guess a warrior has what kind of HP? He has pretty decent HP, right? So maybe, I don't know, let's go 30 or something, right?
Cool.
Okay, player 2, let's make him some kind of caster, perhaps. Job equals, I don't know, wizard. Again, keep it simple. Job, HP. He probably has 15 or something. I don't know.
Sounds about good.
Yep. Okay, so again, remember, we are just going along and making this up. No one else is, or I am, and you guys are making it up. This is how we're sort of developing our code or our somewhat engine, so to speak. Okay, so we have player 1, which is a warrior, player 2, which is a wizard, and they're cool. They got hit points and whatnot. And I mean, we could definitely get crunk and get crazy with the cheese whiz, right? And add a whole bunch of stuff. But for now, let's keep it simple. Okay.
Well,
okay.
Just we're gonna have them damage each other, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So my only question to you is, how are we gonna implement that? Are we just gonna have them do a static, like?
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
as much as we want.
Keeping it simple, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could, and with time, we will grow the system because that's what it is. I mean, we can implement a way of, just doing it, use spells and all that stuff, but we'll get there. For now, gotta take it easy. Gotta start hobbling around first. Okay, so job one warrior. All right, so now we have here. So, well, okay, we got two peoples. We got two peoples. Look at that. Boom. We got two peoples. We got two players, player one and player two. They're standing next to each other, in front of each other. It's like, what? What, bitch? What do you want? What do you want? I don't know what you want. I don't know. What do you want? But they can't even do that because they can't do shit. Right?
They show off their hit points at each other.
Yeah, exactly. They're just showing off each other's hit points. They're like, yo, bro, check this. Yeah, they're flexing at each other somewhat. So they have properties right now, but they don't have any methods. They don't have any actions that they can perform. And really, that is the whole purpose of a class in a way. A class is supposed to do two things: have information about itself through properties or keep track of things and values, but it's also supposed to do things for you. Every class any useful class, it's supposed to do something for you. Like for example, something that we have encountered before. Do you remember the database class that we had, right? And or the list class. Let me just let me give you just a very, very, very quick a quick example. Okay. We have encountered the list. List is the class. List is a class that represents a collection. A string is a class as well. Everything pretty much everything or most of the things that we use are classes. The classes are the building blocks of C# and object-oriented programming. They're kind of blocks that have functionality and information about the self through properties. Okay, so if you look at the list class, right? I've made an instance of a list, right? And let me show you something. How do I explore a class? You guys remember how to explore a class, how to break it open, how to go in? Remember?
Period.
Yeah, the dot. Dot is the dot. Boom, the period. That's what I'm talking about. So when I hit the period or the dot, it shows me, hey man, this is everything that I can do, and this is everything that I have. You see those little square thingies over here that look like a little square?
Yeah.
They're functions or methods. That's how they're like denoted. You see this thing that have a little wrench? They are fields. Like yeah. Like you see like our job or HP. So they're properties. See if your capacity. So do we have any more fields? Count. Count tells you, it keeps track of, hey, how many there are and how many items there are in here. So again, you got your methods and you got your fields. So the perfect example for an action or a method is add. If you look at that. It says add. And in your mind, what do you think add would do? Like if we use a method add, which is a function, and add expects an item. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically add expects you to put something in there so it can magically, automatically put it inside the list for you. And that's what that method or function does. And it belongs to add. So it's sort of like if you had a TV, right? If you have a TV, what kind of functions would a TV have?
I'm sorry, we're talking about a television?
Yeah, television. Yeah. All right. Let me just go back here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going off here.
So, like, we'd have channels, screen size, dimensions.
Well, those would be properties. But what kind of functions can you perform? Can the TV perform?
On and off.
Yep, exactly. So methods would be on, off, yeah. Volume.
I say our remote would be our methods.
Well, no, that would be the interface to which you interact with the TV.
But all the interface options are like volume up, down,
Mhm.
on, off, go to channel.
Yep. All of that, they are methods of the TV. That things that the TV does.
Gotcha.
Mhm. Yeah, like go to channel.
See what you're saying there. That's a good distinction.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's things. Yeah, methods are what the TV or the class can do. That belong to the class. That the functions that it can perform. And properties would be things like like channel, volume, current volume actually. Yeah, current volume. Which HD channel is on or which input, things like that. These are not really actions for themselves. They're kind of information of the TV that you can get or set on the TV.
Yep.
Yeah, these are actual actions. I will probably expand this here, but do you sort of get what I'm getting at, or what we're saying about classes?
It's a nice analogy.
Yeah, that's a good one. I always like the TV analogy. It's sexy. Yeah. Well, so yes, I'm just gonna put it over here. Remember TV. Well, I mean, we sort of get it a little bit. We will go over it a bit later. So again, with the same thing. So our players, what can our players do right now? Just flex, right?
Technically, not even that.
Not even that. No, not even flex. So what kind of actions? Let's bring our player characters to life by giving them things they can do, or methods, so to speak, or functions. All right. So what is one thing that we can do?
We're looking for an attack, right?
Oh, let's go straight for attack. Okay, I like it. So for now, let's just say void. Do you guys remember how?
We could have them both defend. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, exactly, but one at a time. So let's go with attack. Let's do an attack right away. So do you guys remember functions? How functions work, or methods, or actions? Do you guys remember what they consist of? It consists of
Need a name.
Name. Oh man, you guys remember? Yeah. Name, return type,
And arguments.
and arguments. Yes, man, you guys remember? Holy shit. That is correct. That's the description of what describes a function. Man, you guys are that's pretty impressive. That is very impressive. Let me try to go up here, or I could just cheat and write it up here where you guys where we were. Might have been in the other one. All right, I'm just gonna write it here just to cheat anyway. The function. Okay, so yeah, so for functions, one thing that we're going to remember So name, well, return type, then name, and then arguments. So, for example, let's say we have add two numbers would be something like it's going to return, if you're going to add two numbers, you're going to return a number, correct? So we're going to return an integer. We're going to call it add two numbers. And it would take number 1 and number 2. And then you would have something like return number 1 plus number 2. Pretty straightforward, but you guys, you do remember what a function is and what are, how it breaks down. So arguments if it needs arguments, the name, and the return type if it returns anything. That is really good. That I'm glad you guys remember that. That's impressive. So remember, since we're working with methods, all they are is a function that is located inside a class. So it performs a function. So the functions that we want to perform right now is attack for our player. So we want our player character to be able to attack. I'm going to set it to void now because we're not sure if we need to return anything, right? So whenever you're not sure, void it out. Yeah. And you could always change it. Exactly, yeah, just throw it away. Attack. So this is where it's going to get interesting. You see, this is where you guys and we need to use our noggin. This is where we need to use the good old noggin. Okay, so now attack. Well, first of all, let's see. Attack. And we're going to make it public. I forgot. Make it public so other people can see it. All right, so attack. So, I mean, I'm attacking. And this is interesting. So, again, this is where you guys need to start thinking and use your big wigs, your big brains, and see what we can do. So we're attacking. So right now we're not really returning anything, so we're going to attack. So when I attack, let's say player 1, player 2, if we're attacking, like what kind of stuff, let's say...
We probably need a target.
Okay, oh, nice. Okay, so a target. I like it. So for now, let's say a string is a target. Let's keep it simple. String target. I dig it. I dig it. Love it. Beautiful. Nice.
We probably want an amount, unless we're going to calculate something.
Exactly. Let's calculate the amount inside the attack. How about that? Well, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to pass how much damage we're doing, or just calculate it inside? I guess it depends what kind of attack, because we're gonna get crazy. Actually, let's keep it simple. Amount.
Yeah, and for now, I think that's good.
Yeah, damage amount. Okay. So target, damage amount here. This is nice. So we're attacking. So let's say that player 1 would attack player 2. And then, well, what would happen? Okay, Dave, what you got? Tell me what you got. What you got? So now we have an attack method, and we have a target, and we're passing it the target and the amount of damage. So what happens next?
Um,
Actually, in this case, we're gonna be smart about it, and since we are attacking and it's a target, right? So we could just pass the target, the whole target that we want to do, right? I mean, like, what would be the target here if we're hitting player two?
The
The
HP.
yes and
Yes,
no.
no. Saying player two itself.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So we could just pass player two itself, which is pretty sweet because then we can get all information about player two from inside here.
If we wanted to get crazy with it, that could be really useful.
Yes, yeah, it's very very useful. And again, um we pretty much have access to everything about player two, or the player, all the information of the player that we're putting in here, and that is pretty sweet. So in it, we could do all sorts of cool stuff. And again, we have access to everything in it. And this is going to come in handy not only in attack, but everything, everything else that we can do to a player. So are we cool with passing, a player character, the whole player character as a target to the attack method? We are, because it's pretty useful. And we're passing a damage amount. Okay, so now, okay, so Dave, I'm attacking a player, and it's called target. So what else do I need to do? I'm attacking him.
I'm guessing you need to like make the conclusion of what happened after the attack.
Exactly.
Like, let's say the new HP equals target.HP minus damage amount.
God damn it. God damn it. Yes, that's exactly it. So HP is equals HP minus damage amount. God damn. You guys are too good. You guys are seriously too good. And well, then what happens though? So HP. Well, I guess. Yeah, I guess this is fine. Yeah. So at this time, HP it's equals to HP minus well, actually, let's say target.hp just to sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, correct.
We would choose to, if we use the attack, we could use it for any player versus any player, and if we had a third one, we could use the first player as the first argument or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. So you definitely wanna keep this. Yes, you're correct. So target HP minus target HP minus damage amount, and there's a, there's a possibility that this might bring him down to zero, but that is for us to decide later on. Now we're just attacking, and we are, we're just
This function just resolves the attack. It
just
doesn't
resolves the attack. Yeah.
a new job of death.
Yeah. I mean, we could return a number or some kind of boolean or something returning the player's hit points, leftover hit points, or if it died or something. But that is up to us, and I'm not sure if we need it right now. I mean, we could test after the attack to see if the target's hit points reaches zero or not. Again, this is how we decide to implement it and how we do it. We could do it any way we want. This is the interesting part of kind of designing things. Because normally, I mean, you could save time by saying return target HP, right? And then later on, we could just get the value of the attack, and if the value is 0 or less, then the person died, and then we could do stuff. But again, this is kind of just a shortcut, or not really. We could do the same thing after the attack when we do it, which is what we're gonna be doing right now, in a way. So, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. So, there you go. So we have created a method, and the method attacks. And we give it a target and the amount of damage that we have we're going to do, and this attack actually does something to the target. It affects the target. So this method actually does something, right? So in the effect that when you turn a TV on and off, it translates, transitions from on to off, and then, electricity goes away, or then comes back, and then you can see things. In this case, this takes away an amount from the hit points, and that is pretty cool. So far so good. Are you guys good with this?
Yep.
You're resurrecting a lot of memories here, man. I gotta get back to speed with some of this stuff.
No, this is good. That's what we're here, man. That's what we're here. And this is a good way of learning, I think, because it takes a little easier. So since we have an attack, so now let's actually do it. Excuse me. Okay, so now we have player 1, and we have player 2. So now I want player 1 to attack player 2. So how do I do that? Do you guys remember? So player 1. So how do I explore to see what kind of actions and methods I have?
Dot.
And I'm going to look around. I mean, do I have anything? Oh,
there's an attack.
There's an attack. And again, since it's like a little box, that means it's a method. It's an action. It does something. Yeah. These things, they do stuff, but we don't need to worry about them now. So don't worry about that. The ones we worry about is this guy here. Attack. So we want to attack. And what kind of parameters did we say? So the first parameter is a target. So which target?
Player 2.
Player 2. And, let's do maybe 5 damage. I don't know.
5 sounds fair.
Yeah, 5 damage. All right. So after this, how much HP would player 2 have?
10.
Exactly. So, well, we don't know. Let's see if it worked.
Oh, okay.
We're not sure. Let's run it. So remember,
should account to, but
it should.
Our program needs to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's also as good for us that we run through it. So remember, action is called Arena in the home controller. So let's see. And this is good. Remember, never go away too far that you forget about the flow. The flow of information, the flow of control and actions, because that's what it's all about, really. It's all about that flow. All right. So here we are, Princes of the Universe, Born to be Kings. All right. So home, and we're gonna call it Arena. Are we ready? Well, I'm gonna go to it. Let's see what we have. Boom. All right. So player 1. So we create player 1. And I'm going to press F10, which does line by line. Or you could just go here. You see, step over, F10 here, this over here. So it executes line by line. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'm creating, boom, create player 1. Yellow is where we are. Create player 2. Assign job and HP to player 1. And let's see, let's hover over it and see if that is correct. Yep, HP, job warrior. And then let's create player 2 with wizard 15. Wizard 15. So now let's say if this works. So we are passing a version of a class, right? An instance of a class to this method here. And we're passing player 2 and 5. So player 2, before he goes in or she goes in, it has 15 hit points, right? So now, should I go through here, or let's just do it, because we know that it should work. So attack, I'm gonna hit it, boom. Okay, so I'm gonna hover over player 2 to see if anything happened. Okay, player 2, boom, look at that.
Yeah.
Hit points 10. And so it executed this logic here, and it affected the target. And then we continued after this, and the player is indeed 5 hit points less, and we return. Okay. So this is good. This is good, you guys. So this is the method, and the method is the player, it's an action that it takes, and it's in this case is going to be attack. So this is this was nice. I mean, so you guys understand this somewhat decently. That is good. That is good. Now let me throw you a little wrench here. Okay. How else? What else can I create, or what method can I create to take away damage? Because I'm attacking, right? So could have also created a method called assign damage. You see what I mean?
You could. It would essentially be the same as what we're doing here, but it would be divorced from a single PC player character.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, or we could just, or whichever we pass it,
or so we're calculating the damage now, and later we will assign the damage.
Or just take damage. Because
or assign. I see what you're getting at. Yeah.
Because remember, guys, I'm about to throw you a little something here. This is correct here, right? Basically, player 1 is going to attack another player, and we're passing the player, and we're saying how much. Okay. What if there was an explosion, and we just wanted to subtract the player, like that, just assign the player damage? See, we don't have a way, right now. So right now we have a way of, let's say player 1 is going to attack player 2. But what if there was an explosion and I wanted player 1 to take 10 damage? How would I do that? Do you guys see? Like, for example, if let's make believe that there was an explosion, a meteor that hurt everybody, and I wanted player 1 to take 10 damage. How would I do that? He's not attacking anyone, or she's not attacking anyone. She's just taking a random amount of damage. Remember that when you're dealing with this, you will be dealing with an instance of this character, this player character class. So it has a name, a job, right? So this name in particular, or this instance of this player, if I wanted him or her to take damage, then I would need some kind of method to assign it damage or for it to take damage or gain health, whichever we want. Actually, in this case, I think
I'm probably complicating things, but
yeah,
in a lot of the kind of games that I'm used to, like, you would divorce the character completely from that concept. So whether it's a character or some external source or an event, you say. In this case, that sounds like what you're describing.
yeah,
You would have that deal the damage, regardless of whether it came from a character or whatever. You treat them all like a single object.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. Well, so what I want is I just want a way of taking damage. Actually, sorry, let's take it a way that we have done it before. Um, okay, let's say I want to heal. Let's say I have um, somebody healed me, and I need to. I'm gonna gain health.
So, I mean, all right, we'll take the source of the healing away. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yep. Nope.
Okay, so we could do the same thing with the attack. Actually, all we have to do is take the target. How do I describe this?
Well, attack is because attack you're doing it to somebody else. This healing or taking a self wound, you're doing it to itself.
To itself.
This instance.
Well, the way we have it written, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna keep that the same. I'm having a hard time with this.
No, don't worry. I'm kind of introducing it a little bit bad, but let me restart. Okay. Let me restate what we want to do. Okay. So up to now, we understand player one, and then it's a method to attack another player, right?
Right.
Yeah. And we created that because, we pass it another player, and we take that player, and we, we take the damage away from his hit points. Okay. So that is pretty cool. So what if player one, this is just, an example, did not want to attack. What if he wanted to self-heal? So self-heal for 5. Oh, well, 5, I guess, yeah.
I mean, so what I'm thinking is we could just copy paste the attack and change the name of it and change the player to player one.
Sort of.
Player one dot heal with the arguments of player 1 and 6.
Well, again, this is kind of I want you guys to kind of think about this. And so how would this, well, let me describe what we want to do, okay? I want a method called self-heal that we pass it how much you want to heal, and it will heal this player, the player that we are, the instance of the player that we're playing with, or that we're messing with, or that we're using. So go ahead. Sorry, Dan. Now, what do I do? So remember, it's called self-heal.
It would be a lot simpler.
Yes, it would.
Player 1.HP plus heal amount.
All right, so public void.
Self-heal.
Okay, self-heal. Go ahead.
We can still do
Oh,
player characters. Oh, no, it's just heal. Yeah. Sorry.
Heal amount. No worries. Heal amount. Okay, so this is the tricksy part, by the way. This is important. I want you guys to focus here. So I'm providing a healing amount. And again, this is going to be a self heal for the player or the instance that is using it. So who exactly am I healing here, this amount?
The self, is that an actual term?
Exactly. Yes,
yes,
in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember, the reason I keep mentioning these is that when we create, remember here we created an instance of this type. You are now in memory. There's something called player character, something of type player character.
That's what I'm thinking of. This.
Yeah, so you have access to its HP, the race, the name, the job of the current object. I know this is a little bit weird, but yeah.
This dot HP.
So this dot HP. HP.
6 or plus heal amount. I'm
Plus
sorry.
heal amount, no problem. Yeah. So yeah, this works. And I want you guys to, this is kind of, when you're here in this class here, is self-aware. You have access to the properties because you are inside memory, and these methods have access to the information of the properties. It is the same thing as saying HP because you see, this is the same thing as this. You have access to it because you're part of the object. It's part of the whole class. You see, the class starts here and ends all the way over here. So all the methods have access, know what these things are. So you can access it and interact with them. So then when you do something like player one, so now since we created it, if I went on player one dot, and then do we have, yeah, look at that, self heal. And then let's say let's heal for 5 or 6 or something. Boom. And that's gonna heal it. And this is a method. So this method, the attack method, we are interacting with another class or another instance of another class, and we are passing some kind of value, and we're affecting this other class, this other instance, right? But in this one, we don't need any other instance. All we need is our instance, or we just have access. It's just doing stuff to itself. We don't need anything else. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of straightforward, but I think it's so straightforward that it's a little tricky to get sometimes. That you have access to your own properties, and you could do anything you want through methods. Okay. So now, Dave, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So let's say that player 2 is an emo, and he likes to cut self.
Oh no.
Yeah. And in fact, actually, he's just going to do it for 5, because if not, he'll probably die. But he's going to cut self for 5. And this will inflict 5 damage onto his HP. So how can I do that? Remember, player 2 is of type player character. So this would be a method that we want to create. Cut self. So if we have heal self, what would cut self look like?
Public void cut self int.
Damn it. cut amount.
Cut
Damage.
him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just said something. Cut him.
You cut
HP. Just
amount.
HP minus cut him.
Exactly. Damn, you guys are
That's funny.
freaking good at this. You guys are scary good. Yeah, then it's HP
Equals
equals
HP minus cut amount.
minus cut amount. That is very scary. Yes. So again, you have the idea that the object is doing things to itself. It's oh wait, it's little player 2. It's P2. Yeah. So this method interacts with the instance with its own instance. This one does itself. This one needs another instance of another player character to do things. We could probably do it to itself, maybe. I don't know. That would cause some problems or something. Wow, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I mean, I'm liking where we are here. So again, we have attack, we have self heal, we have cut self. I mean, let's just say that you have a wizard. Well, actually, the wizard would heal itself, I guess. And again, that would just be some kind of spell, maybe. So you guys are getting the hang and getting the idea that classes have methods, which are actions that do something, and you guys are pretty solid at that. That's very respectable. Let's see what else. So we have combat here. This is nice. This is nice. So in effect, we can sort of. Well, we might be missing something else. How about in attack, right? Let's expand attack to not take take in a number, or if it doesn't take in a number, well, to not take in a number and that's generated in here. I mean, we could do that, right? It would just be some kind of random generated number, and then we would do that we would set that to be the damage amount. And you guys understand that.
I'm really not following you, actually.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I went off on a tangent. So let me ask you a question. So let's say if I just wanted to attack player 2, and I wanted the attack method to generate the damage instead of passing it. You see, right now we're passing it. Like we're saying, like +5 to do damage amount. Right?
So you're saying we're just calculating it and we're going to set it aside for later?
Well, let's say that we had a different method in which I'm about to show you guys. I'm about to blow your mind. I don't know if I should be blowing your mind about this time, but it's okay. Okay, so let's say that I have another method that I call attack as well, but this one doesn't take we don't give it a damage amount. We just give it, hey, attack this person, right? And we generate the damage amount inside the attack method here. So let's say I'm not making a lot of sense here, but let's say that I want to create, damage amount. I'm just making this up here. This is kind of quick. Equals 0 for now. So now, again, this is a different attack. In this attack method, all I'm giving it is a target, and I want the method itself to generate an amount of damage. and hit the player, the target player, with that damage. Okay. So to keep it simple, let's say, let's just assume that the player character, um, well, if target is, well, give me 1 second. I'm trying to. Well, let's go by race, I guess. If it's a dragon, then damage amount is going to be only 1. Else, damage amount equals 10. I know I'm kind of throwing you a little bit of curveball here and changing it out. I don't want to change it out too much because we're actually on pretty good ground here. But if I were to do that, would that make sense to you in a way?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
So again, we are not providing a damage amount. We're not. We're just saying, like for example, if I said, instead I went over here. Instead I said,
We could say this is Sting, and if we were hitting an orc, it would deal like 10 damage rather than anyone else. It would just deal 1.
yeah. But yeah, so but the important thing is, you see, if we have attack and we only give it a player character instead of 2 if we give it 1 argument, just a player, then this is the one that's going to be executed, right? I know I'm just glossing over this, but or we could just yeah, maybe we could give it a different name, attack player or something. And attack player. So we call the method attack player, and we use it here, and we pass it a player. And in this method, again, we're just setting damage to 0 to start with. And if the player that we're attacking is a dragon, the damage is going to be 1. If it's anything else than other than a dragon, is going to be take full amount of 10. So this attack, in a way, it's pretty weak against dragons, right? Anybody else is just full amount. And then we do the logic that take damage amount from HP. And this logic here, who made this up? Where did I get this from?
You.
Exactly, right? Yes, I just made it up. If I do this, right, how much damage am I dealing this target?
No damage.
No damage, correct? So what if I said damage amount equals random dot.
Oh man, you just threw random at us.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't want to.
Is that easy?
It is. It's very easy. Random. I mean, it's kind of. I don't want to create the. Yeah. It's just some kind of random number here. I don't want to get too much into it, but just
Be prepared.
Yeah, make believe that I have a function called random that generates any random number. All right, So I could say, hey, just give me any random number. Uh, and that's gonna be the damage amount. And that's kind of how it is in a way, right? The only difference is that we control we give it a shape of what is the minimum and what is the maximum of the random number that you want to create.
Makes sense.
Are you guys so if yeah, the syntax. So remember the weapons. So if this dude was using a sword, I would probably create a random number. I would get a random number from 1 to 9 to generate how much damage I want to inflict.
So instead of damage, we do like min and max.
Depending. We would
Yeah,
be
okay.
min and max would be a crit and whatnot. But no, you could give it like give me a random number from 1 to 9. Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Exactly, yes. I see what you mean. Yeah, so give a random from yeah, min and max, which in this case is would be damage 0 or just 1 to damage max or just damage. Yeah. So again, I don't want to delve too much into the randomness, but just know that it's there. For now, damage equals, for now, let's say just day of the week or something. I don't know, or just 5, 6. Keep it. Okay, so in this one, damage amount is always going to be 6, correct? Yep. And we have ways of making this random again, which we will, address later on. But to digress, to solidify this, how do you feel about the idea that we have a class and the class has properties and that describes and keeps track of things that pertain to the class itself, like hit points, and you have methods or actions or functions that do things, and these methods can do things like interact with other objects or other instances, and do affect change or do things to itself. They could be good or they could be bad, or they could just be. And that concept is very important to understand. And how do you guys feel about that concept? I know I keep asking it, but it's very important to feel at least okay with it. Because everything you will encounter in this, pretty much everywhere here, is a class. And once you accept and once you understand that everything is a class and that you can, and it has methods and properties, and you pretty much can do anything because you can explore and see what things you can do. And that is that's pretty powerful. That's when the real power comes in. So this is pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with this, and I don't want to extend it too long because I think the knowledge that we gained here that we're up to here is solid. And then we can explore more and grow on this. Okay, but do you guys want me to? No, actually, no. This is good. This is perfect. I mean, we understand that the objects, when you attack, you give it an object, and you do stuff to the object, or you self heal, or you cut self, and or you have the TBE and do all sorts of cool stuff. Okay, so I think we're going to end here, at least for now. Oh, that's it. Oh, I missed this. And yeah, so from 1 to 10, how you guys feel with this? We're aiding it or what?
Yeah,
Yeah, eight's good.
Ooh,
A
man.
bit of practice. I think a little bit of practice will go a long way on that.
Yes. Well, this is where we're going to start doing more practice because I will be able to give you guys things to do and you will be able to just kind of do them. Because once you understand this, then you can pretty much do anything. At least, well, up to a point, I guess. And remember, bring your art next time. Make sure you have your art.
Do some now, actually.
Oh, well, damn, I'm not ready with mine. But
That's fine. I have it on hard disk, so it's all good.
you have it where?
On hard disk.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, make sure you guys got yours. I'm gonna get mine. Mine is gonna go straight from. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be sweet. He's gonna love it. So make sure you guys got yours. And yeah, I don't want to abuse your brains too much since I think we're very solid, and I don't want to. Yeah, don't want to. I think we're good. Try to get up to here in your projects if you can. I am going to package this and send it out. But try to at least get some understanding and see if you understand what we've done today. All right, and get ready. Get ready to do the do. All right. Later. That's a.
You still there?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just a reminder, on Thursday, I will at the very least be late.
Yeah. No problem.
I have a meeting with the BronyCon guys, trying to get some registration stuff filled out.
Yeah. No. We could move it to 9 or something, or move it to a little bit later or something. I mean, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I'm not able to guarantee that I will be there in a time limit.
No, no problem. I mean, I'll make sure we'll get something going at least, and it's not you can't catch up or something, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, at least Dave and I can create our creatures, or since you already have it or something,
Creatures.
our characters or something.
I'll put it this way. I'll present it to you, and we'll see what you say.
Yeah. You're like, oh. Okay, but no, man, rest your brain since you guys are about to get into the super good stuff. I think this is really good. Well, you guys understand this. Soon we'll be able to get into Unity itself, which is pretty impressive.
That is, Unity was pretty daunting. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at Construct and Game Maker, but Unity was like, oh, all that 3D stuff. I don't know, man.
Oh no. Well, you don't have to use Unity. It's a 3D engine, right?
Oh yeah.
But you don't have to use it as a 3D engine.
In general, it's just more complex. That's
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around with 3D. I'm like, oh, fuck that. Just use that shit as a normal one. But anyway, later. Take it easy. Let's see.